the Cinnamon Voice Recognition Podcast. It's hey,
just listen to music in the background the entire time.
It won't be like that, I promise. It's gonna go away eventually because I'm gonna make it go away.
This is just used for measuring purposes.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're on time. Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, November 10th. Yeah, what are you gonna say? You gonna say something?
Hey guys, it's whatever
Didn't realize we were coming in right there.
It's Wednesday, November 13th, season 2, episode 14 of Bliss Point. Bliss Point, if you didn't know, is a podcast and website serving up music discussion, news, show and album reviews, and more. I meant to ask you guys before we got started. I figured this would be a pertinent time anyways because we're recording.
Perfect.
We need to do album of the year stuff soon.
We do.
It is almost the end of the year. And
That's what the first 4 months of the coming year is for.
There's really not that much left in the year, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Are we?
There's Harry Styles, but that's about it.
I'll be honest.
For me,
I think there's some
honestly.
contenders on today's episode.
There are, and we're gonna speaking. I can't even transition because I haven't introduced anyone yet. My name is Jordan Kaufman, and I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts Billy Gatewood
Hey,
and Paul Kolb.
Hi.
Hey guys.
what's going on?
It's going great. I'm silencing all of my things because I'm a true professional.
We are so prepared.
There
today.
it is. Look at that.
us through
Look
that.
right off the
Look
bat.
at him hit that airplane mode.
Right off the bat. That's just fucking great. Isn't that great?
Yeah, make sure you hit the battery
Yeah,
saver.
Absolutely. Yeah. Save my battery. Speaking of saving batteries, Taking Back Sunday. It's headlining what we've been listening to. Saving batteries, saving Billy's heart from exploding.
Billy saved himself a second trip.
I'm not even gonna do the what we've been listening to thing. I'm just gonna jump
don't
right in.
even
We're
do
just
it.
gonna
Let's
mix it up.
just
Let's
scratch
just
this
do it.
entire
Let's
episode.
just do it. No, we're not gonna do that. We got a vibe.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
Tell me about how disappointed you were.
Well, let's get to the good stuff first.
What's the good stuff?
It was Taking Back Sunday. Of course, it's going to be a good show.
Really?
Yeah. They're
See,
probably my favorite band to see live.
Really?
After Brand New, of course. But
Sure.
I've never been to see Brand New again. So
Right. My wife seems to think otherwise, and it's interesting.
What do you mean?
I don't mean to start some shit, but I'm about to start some shit. She heard your Snapchats and she was like, "I'm
burn
glad
this
we
house
didn't.
to the ground."
I'm glad we didn't go because they sound like shit." I was like, "Oh shit,
They sounded so
oh,
good.
shit." I was like, "It's probably the Fillmore, honestly."
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Anyway, Taking Back Sunday, very good live.
They're so good live.
Yeah.
I also just love Taking Back Sunday. Yeah.
Do you love Tell All Your Friends?
Oh,
to
my
be
God,
clear,
yes.
they played Tell All Your Friends first.
Yes,
front to
there
back.
was a 2-nighter. There was a Sunday night and a Monday night. Went Sunday night, and yes, they were playing Tell All Your Friends front to back both nights. And then Sunday night, before the second album, they were going to flip a coin between Where You Want to Be and Louder Now.
Which is cool because I didn't think they were going to do that live.
Yeah,
I thought
and
they
it
were
was
just gonna
literally like
jump right into
before. It
that's
wasn't
cool.
like no break, nothing.
So they were
flip a
like
coin and,
heads louder now, tails.
Yeah.
Not Tell Your Friends.
Where You Wanna Be.
be.
yeah.
And like we're gonna flip it live. Did they have a camera or are they just like
No,
it's
they
heads?
just like
so you
brought
just
their-
believed them.
Well, they
Like,
showed.
I want to see the
front
coin
rows
Okay,
or whatever, but
That's what I'm saying. They should have done a custom coin that had.
it may have
album
been
cover.
for all I
would've been
know.
cool. That
It
would've been
very
cool,
well may
actually.
have been.
But still, consummate professionals to just decide on a set like that.
That's
Yeah.
pretty neat.
So, I mean, to hear Tell All Your Friends front to back, first and only time I'll ever get to do that, right?
Sure.
So, in that album, I mean, that takes you back to middle school, basically, and holds
was a
true all the
long-ass
way to
time ago.
today's.
Yeah.
I mean, hearing it live front to back just reminds
Do
you.
you still like that record?
Oh, my God, it's so good.
Okay. I could never get into that record.
Why?
But I wasn't into them when that first came out. I got into
Interesting.
them when Where You Want to Be came out.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I really, really love that record a lot.
Yeah.
We don't have to get into it. It's
You
stupid.
can tell how good that record is live, especially. So I went in wanting to hear Where You Want to Be second. Didn't get my wish. We got Louder Now, which weirdly enough seemed like most of the crowd wanted. Was kind of surprised by that.
That's
But
such a weird issue in that fandom because
Mm-hmm.
knowing you guys and people that my wife are friends with,
Yeah.
it's always been so divisive on what Taking Back Sunday album after Tell All Your Friends do you like the best.
Well, I think
And
most
I
people
feel like it's always where you want to be.
maybe
but-
got into them around Louder Now. Like maybe that's
I
when they
love that
started hitting the
record.
mainstream a little bit more. So
yeah,
it-
I don't know.
drew in a larger crowd, but
That's true. I mean, Make Damn Sure was gigantic.
it's still huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But even just playing those albums back to back, the energy difference between Tell All Your Friends, which everybody sings along every single word,
yes.
versus Louder Now, and it probably would have been the same with Where You Want to Be. Like people just, it's just not as like a sing along album as
sure.
Tell All Your Friends. So that kind of live performance that album can give off was just everything I wanted.
Yeah, that's awesome. Eventually, I'll see them. Maybe when Adam Lazar is 50 years old, swinging microphones from a wheelchair.
Yeah, he still swings them pretty good. Still swings them pretty good.
It's impressive.
And we've got
guess.
John Nolan, who's always great, and Sean on the bass, who's just great.
I like Fred better.
What?
I like
What?
Fred better.
Why?
Fred's
am I
cool.
Because he's
doing
got the
this?
medical capabilities
Fred's
in
cooler.
case swinging that mic just
Really?
goes wrong.
Fred's cooler. Fred's cooler.
Wow.
I'm just.
So, yeah, so Adam kept talking about some person, a partner with the band that they couldn't talk about legally. And I didn't know who he was referring to, if he was referring to Jesse Lacey, like being a member of the band like really early on, if they
Yeah.
were referring to Fred, and maybe they had some sort of falling out. But
I mean, they had a huge falling
Did
out.
they?
So after, not to get on a tangent because it's too late.
15-minute conversation about Taking Back Sunday.
After he left the band, he got kicked out post Louder Now, I think. Maybe one more record. It was a huge falling out. Like there was a lot of animosity between the band and him, but I think they patched things up later. So I don't know if it was him.
I don't know. I'm very confused,
Yeah, who knows?
but I wasn't sure.
But
So,
yeah. Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Thank
and
you.
I'm disappointed you didn't go to both shows.
I am too, but it was like $40 some a pop, and
It's also
I
Monday
couldn't
night.
spend.
It's a Monday night.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of money for a pop. I can't imagine what the ticket prices were.
I mean, honestly, if you were gonna get a soda at the Fillmore, it probably would have cost you $40 because that place is so expensive.
Because the Fillmore sucks.
It doesn't suck.
It sucks.
Why
It's
does
bad.
it suck?
Because I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
We don't need to have this conversation.
It's a bad venue. Singles.
And when are you going next to see who? When? What's your next show?
It's at the Fillmore.
Yeah,
disappointingly.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll
It's
see you
gonna
there.
be trash.
I'll see
it's
you
gonna
there.
be trash.
I'll see
You're
you
not
there.
gonna be there. You're not.
I got my ticket when I went.
Oh, did you?
I sure did.
Oh my god.
I'm going
surprised
Friday
you're
and
going.
Saturday for Manchester, and then As I Lay Dying
Oh my god.
because it's the best venue ever.
You fucking would. You know Manchester's on Sunday, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's Friday and Sunday.
You mean
Friday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday. Gotcha.
Friday and
Okay.
Sunday. Yeah.
Oh,
Whatever,
okay. I got
whatever.
you.
It's
Yeah, I got
Thanksgiving.
you.
It all
Okay.
blends in.
Yeah, it's all fine. Singles. Pusha T. Swizz Beatz.
Good song.
Track is called No Patience. Part of some new Epics series,
Oh yeah,
which it's got Forrest Whitaker in it, which seems like a big pull for Epics, but hey, the track's
Godfather of
great.
Harlem.
Yeah, the track's really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
You guys like it? Seems like
Cool. Got a consensus. It's a good song.
like a good Pusha T track. You know,
I agree with this slowly leaking balloon over here.
it's great. Tame Impala. Mm-hmm. Fans? Yes? No?
It's a little,
Prior to the single, where are we at with Tame Impala?
We're at an okay.
Okay.
a lot of
Paul,
fun.
did you like him?
I did. I like that track.
You like the track? Yeah.
Fun
I did
to
too.
say.
I did too.
Tame Impala.
Tame Impala, new track, It Might Be Time. He's got a new record coming out next year, which I'm excited for. Last record didn't really do it for me, but we'll see. We'll see if he can turn it around.
Song was pretty boring.
Maybe if he can make Billy like him more. Maybe if he sounds more like the Midnight.
No, but if it sounded more like Toro y Moi, I might.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
It was just a little boring.
I feel that. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Speaking of not boring, Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
Dua Lipa, new track, Don't Start Now. Some sweet, sweet, funky bass. Did you break Worth's
Sorry, I'm
arm?
playing with Jason Worth. Right arm.
Decapitated arm. Dua Lipa, great new track. Got some great bass on it. Did you guys like it?
I loved it. This is everything I want out of a pop song.
Yeah, it was good. Would you call it like new
It's kind of like the
disco-ish?
new disco vibe
Yeah.
with the bass and
Yeah.
the piano breakdown and everything like that.
Yeah, and I like that the chorus doesn't like give you this huge typical EDM
Yeah,
drop. It just kind of cuts right into just her and the bass
More
again.
bass.
Yeah, it was.
You picked up pretty quickly on the LaRue vibe. It's like,
Yeah,
this is very much British artists love that sort of neo disco house.
I don't know.
whatever that
Yeah,
is.
I don't know what it is. But I don't know if she's got a new record coming out or if this is like something separate. But I actually am curious to check it out because I didn't really like her before, but now I'm very excited. I'm skipping over the next one because it's my favorite. So we're gonna go to Indie Stott, Versi.
Yeah.
Very cool, raw, lo-fi.
Like
what is
dub
that?
and
Indie,
techno.
dub, house, something.
What'd you call it? Deep house?
Yeah,
It's more like dub and techno, like you pointed out, with like the swing and kind of that bass, and I guess it's more of a dub techno type.
yeah. It's got like it's
track.
got a dope kind of swing to it. But I just really
It's
loved
super
the
good.
groove on the thing.
Yeah.
And it was cool how really raw the sounds that he was creating were, and it's not sample based. It's a slow build, but it's a cool track, and I look forward to seeing his take on club music and kind of what that sounds like in his world.
Definitely. I like it if you give it the time to develop.
Yes, yeah, it's like 5 minutes, but it takes a while to get going, in a good way.
Yeah.
I think it builds in a nice way. Lucy Dacus, Fool's Gold.
Yeah.
Gorgeous track. Was reading a little bit about it. She wrote it the night of New Year's Eve. She was hosting a New Year's Eve party, and she kind of started to write it as soon as everybody left.
Okay.
In this like weird moment of like, I'm alone on New Year's Eve, and I'm like drinking alone, and it's a very cool vibe to the track, and I think it's gorgeous. Like the cool piano like in the background, and she's got great performances on this thing.
Yeah, it's real good.
And lastly, certainly not leastly, probably my new favorite band.
Wow. One song in.
One song in.
Wow.
I'm all chips in.
Wow.
I'm going to be totally disappointed by their new record. Dogleg. Song is called Fox. Mr. Billy, Mr. Emo, where we at?
I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Mayor of Emo Town.
Here.
You heard it first. Mayor of Emo Town says it's pretty incredible.
It's pretty incredible.
Even Paul liked it, yeah?
Oh, I liked it very much. Why does that surprise you, though?
You're usually just not on board with the emo stuff, which I understand. A lot of it's trash.
Yeah, I like the energy of this. I hate the, some of it gets a little weepy.
Yeah, I
Just
got you.
kinda-
I got you. It's got the dope shouty vocals and like really raw guitars. It's super simple lineup. It's just a guitarist, a bassist, a drummer. The mixing is very raw.
Yeah, that snare freaking hammers through, but it's so good.
It's very, very good.
It's like my favorite snare sound.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to see what their album sounds like. And let's jump into shoutouts. I have 30 of them, so I'm just gonna run
And
through.
none of them have vocals.
Yeah, most of them don't. So first, Sonic Citadel by Lightning Bolt, noise rock group. This record is just a muscular, colossal noise mess. And I feel exhausted after listening to it. It is full throttle the entire time. It's very, very good. Clipping, we checked out their single a couple weeks ago, that Halloween rap kind of sound. They've extended that to an entire record. This group always continues to amaze me in what they can do without traditional hip-hop instrumentation. Like, very few drums, usually just weird samples, weird noises that rapper David Diggs creates these gargantuan, tongue-twisting lines that are just super impressive.
Did it get a little samey for you?
It's hard to distinguish songs when there's not really hooks.
Yeah.
So I get that. It's not going to be for everybody, and I totally understand that.
He's gonna lean in and ask that of every instrumental album you have on this list.
No, I was listening to it, and he's so talented.
Yeah.
But it still left me wanting more, and I couldn't figure out why.
No, I'm with you. It's not like it's not a traditional musical record. It is very out there. I mean, granted, the last track is like 8 minutes of just random sounds and like Foley work. It's very weird. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly not a perfect record, but it's definitely interesting. Speaking of, Not a perfect record, but very interesting. Caroline Polachek.
Yeah.
Paying. I was disappointed. I think I had really high hopes for this record. I ended up settling on really liking it. It's a great, pretty traditional pop record, but I don't think it really does anything super different.
I was so excited after that single we listened to.
Yeah.
And I just didn't do it.
Yeah, it's not the best pop record I've heard this year. Anicca by Teebs, a little more understated and less glitchy than I was hoping for. I think it's a really good electronica record. Reminds me of Bonobo a lot. It's definitely got that emotive feel, a lot of gorgeous string arrangements, and just really sweet production. Jesus is King.
Yeah. I want to hear what you have to say.
Kanye West. I was as disappointed in this record as God is disappointed in me on a daily basis. It's a complete fucking mess. That is not only like I understand what he's going for, and there are some good ideas here.
That's all it is, though. It's ideas.
There's no
songs,
ideas.
yeah.
There's no substance. And the thing that pisses me off even more is that now he's on this new God has put his faith in me kind of fucking bandwagon bullshit, and his once just full of himself egotism that was like fun to entertain because like, oh, it's just Kanye being Kanye, now is like, it's God has willed me to have millions of dollars and make dumb shoes for white kids who have too much money. It's fucking stupid.
How does it stack up against the recent Kanye albums?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask because of the three of us, I really liked those records last year. But even considering that, I think it's far below those, and it might be one of his worst, honestly. In terms of like full artistic vision, there's no cohesive amount to this record that would make me enjoy it any more than my least favorite record of his, which is probably Yeezus, honestly. Right. And Yeezus is far more interesting and put together than...
It just feels completely incomplete. It feels like it was... It feels like it's maybe a tenth of the way that he would be in constructing a normal album. It's just a list of ideas for songs that are maybe 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes long.
Yeah. Like
that he could really expand on and make into something really good. But he just...
Yeah, I think Follow God, I believe, is the track, one of the tracks on the record. Incredible gospel beat. It's 1.5 minutes long.
Right.
And he just cuts it off.
Yep.
It's stupid. So yeah, check that out, I guess, if you're delusional. The Undivided 5 by A Winged Victory for the Sullen. Glad you checked out this record and enjoyed it, Billy.
Yeah.
It's just an absolute stunning, like, ambient... cinematic string focused record, and I hate saying this genre, but this is what I've come to know it as, but it's an oxymoron. I've heard it classified as modern classical.
Ugh. Really?
Yeah, I don't really like that genre
that far.
classification, and I think only people attribute to that only because it's mostly strings. It's not really a lot of like digital composition.
It's honestly a rough thing because if you, I get where they're coming from on it. It's traditional, orchestral instruments, but it's recently composed.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Like that whole classification is really hard to kind of pin down anyway.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like if you're composing stuff last week, but it's still listed as regular classical.
Right, like you wouldn't necessarily call everything that somebody would arrange in a fancy music program but release today modern classical music.
Right, and
so,
within like classical circles, like if academic shit, what they would categorize as modern is a lot of like conceptual garbage.
Right.
Stuff you wouldn't want to listen to.
Yeah.
It's just, mathematically this is genius.
Sure. But yeah, I think this is a beautiful record and really should check it out, especially if you're just looking for like some beautiful ambient, score type music. McSeal, new record.
Oh yeah, forgot I told you to put this on.
Disappointing. Not as disappointing as Kanye. I feel like it's a little more milquetoast and like ineffective. It was disappointing to me because of how by the numbers it was.
Yeah.
And you feel the same.
Oh yeah, I feel like they were like, outright told to like tone it back a little bit.
Is
be
this
a little
their
bit more
major label debut? Or not major label, but they are signed now to a record label.
I don't know. Did they change between the EP and now? I'm
I have
guessing.
no idea.
I don't know.
It sounds like like there's more money behind this record.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely a little bit more of an investment, but it also sounds like with that they lost a lot of control over what they do.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're into emo music in general, you'll probably like this. It's not a bad record by any means. It's just not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Especially after the EP.
I know.
It was a really, really good EP.
I know.
So maybe next year. Sudan Archives, Paul. You want to give a little information?
And if I said no?
I liked it. What I heard of it, I listened to about half of it. It's a very good record. It's cool.
So Sudan Archives, I had forgotten about her, but when I first started listening to this, I figured it was just they were sampling classical music, real classical music, by the way, not modern classical.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But
ancient classical music.
once I looked her up, she used to do this kind of avant-garde instrumental violin stuff, and that kind of thing's not for everybody.
Sure.
And she's kind of known for playing with those sounds and using looper pedals and kind of building tracks on stage, which me, I always get a little nervous about. It's kind of like once the gimmick wears off,
right?
Where do we sit? But I feel like this record, she's really just developing into a good songwriter. It's sort of a poppy R&B feel.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of variance stylistically in some of these tracks, but just a really cool foundation of a lot of the beats and hooks and everything are just played from violin.
Yeah, the violin, I think, especially her playing, it really lends itself to a really unique sound that I'd found a hard time comparing anything to. So she's very cool.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
It's called Athena. So.
Yeah. New releases.
Yeah.
Mr. Billy.
Yeah. That's because both of my releases are heavy today.
That's true. That's very true. All hail.
Yeah.
Norma Jean.
Look at heavy, but with some tears in the back room.
I do. I must ask.
Yeah. Ask away.
Were you going to check out this record before I had mentioned it?
Well, let me take it back a notch and burst your bubble a little bit. But Danny had sent me one of their singles several weeks ago.
Oh, that's right. You did know about the error code, whatever, with errors.
So I was excited for this album.
Fair enough.
I just didn't know it had come out until you
You're welcome.
let me know.
You're welcome.
So thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
But what do you think?
I mean, this album is awesome. It's the best Norma Jean that I've heard since probably like early 2000s, I think.
Oh God, the Aftermath
in like 2000. Oh, it's so
in
good.
Early
And then
high school, yeah.
Redeemer to follow that up was pretty good
Redeemer
too.
is also very good.
But I
stopped
just
paying
kinda,
attention after that.
Yeah, I would check in, but it wasn't anything remotely as good as those albums. So this is by far the best album since that time period that I can say that I've listened to from them. And to hear the vocalist who's been with them, he's the only member that's been with them since like 2004.
Yeah.
The entire other rest of the band is like switched over. I think it's just him and a guitarist now.
Oh, really?
Have, like, touring or session
He's
musicians.
fucking incredible. He's a
so
great metal vocalist. And has a good, like, raw, clean vocal,
He
too.
went way more versatile on this record.
Yes.
Instead of his standard just screaming, like, to do his weird kind of like new metal type clean vocals, which I'm not always a fan of, but it works for them.
He's very similar to Spencer from Under
Oh
Oath
my
in
gosh, that was
eyes.
exactly
Yeah.
exactly what I was gonna compare him to. And a lot of these songs like have that kind of vibe, even with the like new guitarist that has a lot of those kind of like Under Oath.
Yeah,
riffs.
it's funny you bring that up because I was trying to put my finger on what kind of makes me enjoy this record, and it's almost like it's like if Under Oath had written a better record, like that new reunion record that they came out with last year that we were super disappointed in. It's like they like actually took the time to write a better record, and that's what this record sounds like to me.
Yeah,
like that modern Under Oath metalcore sound, but it's just The raw vocals I think are really what do it for me. Like,
Okay.
there's not a ton of cleans. There's some here and there.
Yeah.
There's some versatility in the songwriting, but it's mainly that super thick, chunky guitar.
It's super heavy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's produced
And
very, very
consistently
well.
heavy throughout.
Yes.
Like a lot of their old albums, like they were just they.
They have like weird interludes.
Yeah.
And there's some of that towards the end. Like I think the closing track is like an acoustic
Yeah.
piece, which is interesting. And it shows that they're good at writing different types of songs.
Yeah.
I just don't know that
Don't need that.
the end of the record
Yeah.
really did it for me. I could have stopped at like, I don't know. It's a long album too.
It is.
It's like 16, 17 songs.
Yeah, it's 14 songs. It's a
14,
little long. It's
okay.
like 45 minutes, but it's still.
I think if they cut like 2 or 3 songs off the end,
Yeah, I
it would
agree.
have been
It would have
better
been perfect.
product.
But yeah, it starts out so strong with Mind Over Mind, Safety Last, and
Yes.
Landslide Defeater.
Yep.
Oh my God, it's just like so heavy over and over again. Like if you like anything by Under Oath or any kind of metalcore.
Yeah, if you're into that modern metalcore sound,
Mm-hmm.
I think you would enjoy this.
I mean, I really liked it. I only had time to sample maybe 3 or 4 of the tracks, and also I know you're not the one to ask about this, Billy, but I would love to know if someone out there hears some kind of a Tool vibe, because it's only a flavor. It's not like anything
I can see that though.
overbearing.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely got like a bit of like a new metal kind of, well, not the Tools, new metal, I don't know what you guys describe them as, but that kind of like weird, like the vocal, like when he goes
Tribal.
clean vocals, it reminds me of like that kind of sound.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I got you. My new release,
Yeah.
Billy can't stand, USA by Anamanaguchi. 6 years, I think it's been since their last traditional album. They are like chip tunes, electronica, kind of weird nostalgia, maximalism kind of
Video game music.
yeah. And got really, really huge off of, they wrote the music for the Scott Pilgrim The Game soundtrack, which I didn't really know until I was doing a little more research into them, because this is my first record that I really got into by them.
So they're literally video game music.
Yes, they're
Wow.
actually literally video
Yeah.
game music.
I mean, 8-bit.
Yeah, they actually. It's funny you say that. As I was researching them today, a dumb new genre that I found on the internet to
Oh,
describe
geez.
them, bit pop.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that
Yep.
makes sense. It's got 8-bit chiptune stuff, but they're also very poppy. They do feature a lot of guest vocalists on this record, including the world's favorite Vocaloid, Hatsune Miku. It's a really fun record. I like it a lot. I think the last few tracks are a little too slow. I think they could have dispersed them throughout and it would have made for a stronger record. But the first half of the record, specifically Lorem Ipsum, Arctic Anthem, which we listened to a couple weeks ago, and Sunset by Plane featuring Caroline Lufkin, are just really, really good, wild EDM pop tracks that I enjoyed a lot.
I wish you all could see the disappointment in Billy's face when he heard Hatsune Miku brought up.
Oh, you love Hatsune Miku, don't you, Billy? Don't lie. I know you have
having its holograms.
I know you have one of those anime pillows.
Yeah.
It's like
Yep.
girl, but it's actually Hatsune Miku in your bed right now. So you hated this record, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just too much.
It's
It's like
over the
balls
top.
to the wall.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a bunch of hooey and
And
noise.
this is one of the few times where I will entertain people disliking this record because I totally understand
Yeah.
why someone would.
I mean, I don't need to put a bit destroyer on and just like bash on a piano
Oh,
and
yes.
call it music.
Oh, yes. It's incredible. It's incredible. Favorite tracks, Lorem Ipsum, Sunset by Plane, and BSX, featuring Hatsune Miku.
Okay.
Album of the week. Billy, do you want to tell us about your trash?
You love my trash.
What if this was the greatest betrayal of all time? I was like, man, I love Counterparts. Just to get you here, get you all excited, and they'd be like, no, Counterparts sucks. It's not true. Counterparts is
true.
great.
This album's great.
This album is great.
Yeah, Counterparts, Nothing Left to Love is more Counterparts greatness.
Yeah, so you're a big fan of them? You've heard their stuff
Yeah.
before? Okay. I had never heard of them before.
Really?
So, yeah.
Their last album is, I guess, when I really got into them and kind of went back on their catalog a bit. But their last album, I think, is what really put them over. So I was doing a little bit of reading, to see what people thought of this album, because I think it's incredible. To me, it took more of a like metalcore kind of sound versus the like hardcore punk sound that they used to have on the last album. But nonetheless, it's still very similar to what they've done. So I was interested to see what other people had to say. And the reviews on this album are so weird, because it's people that love Counterparts, people that love this album, but all they do is talk about how samey it is to their old albums and how like it's disappointing that they didn't do anything different, but they would still give the album like a 9 out of 10. And I'm like, I couldn't get like...
I feel like that's most like music critiques nowadays. It's like, well, they're not doing anything different, but I love it.
But that's the thing, is like it's so difficult to keep producing music that sounds that is true to your sound that your fans love, and to keep doing it like effortlessly, but like, and I'm sure it's not effortlessly, but to do it over and over again and make it sound so good.
Effortless.
Yeah.
Like, transition between records that maybe sounds similar on paper, but
it's so
you
hard
fall
to
in
do. love
with because there's hooks or there's things that you enjoy about. Yeah. No, it's absolutely difficult to, because we're always talking about it. How do you walk that line between doing something different and doing something unique versus keeping the fans that loved you in the first place, right?
Just not going to please everyone.
It's never going to happen.
And that's exactly the vocalist before this album came out was basically like, if you love our stuff, this is nothing groundbreaking. It's going to be more of what you love.
Sure.
If you hate us, like we've honed in on our craft and we do it as good as we've ever done it. If you didn't like it, you're probably not going to like it. But maybe since we've perfected it a little bit better, like you like it more. But so it's every song. It's so heavy.
It's a great record. It's produced really, really well.
Yeah, production's great.
Because it's not the thing that usually kills me with metalcore records is like it's just produced to the bone. Everything is just perfectly clean.
Yeah.
This has enough grit to it that I was really on board with it from the beginning. And the guitars are just super interesting. Like not
Their
just
guitars are so talented.
Yes, not just like your plain, rhythm guitar for both.
Yeah.
You have a really good lead guitarist and a really good rhythm guitarist that make compelling songs. And then, of course, the scream vocals, which are great.
Lyrically, it's so dark and so emo, which is everything I want out of a good metal album.
It is.
It's
so if nothing left to love,
right.
left anything to be desired, then
just chanting that in the opening track, right?
Yes,
so just sets it up real nice.
I didn't even hate the clean vocals. I thought they were pretty nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're not clean.
Well, no, yeah,
they're not as they dying clean, right?
Yes, it's not like your choral passages.
But
right?
no, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
I'll see you in Baltimore on Tuesday with.
Are you going?
I don't know. It sounds like such a nightmare.
You need to give yourself a break. God damn it!
I did on Monday when I didn't go see Taking Back Sunday back to back.
Oh man!
Oh, I thought you were going out there to see Danny Brown.
No, that's tonight.
Oh, is that tonight?
That's literally tonight.
Oh fuck! When he comes closer, I'll go. I don't care what day it is.
That's fair.
All right, Four of Arrows, Great Grandpa.
Oh, it's so good.
I have been hyping them up for weeks just because I think we may have done 2 singles. Because we did Bloom a couple weeks ago, and then maybe did Mano no Aware a few months ago.
Okay.
Because it sounds super familiar, but regardless, the rest of the record I think is gorgeous. It is kind of everything I love about Pine Grove, like the country, the pop, the emo, and all of that stuff blended together really nicely. But I think they have way more versatility, and I think they have way more interesting songwriting than Pine Grove does. And don't get me wrong, I'm always going to love and listen to Pine Grove.
It sounds like you're throwing Pine Grove in the trash.
No.
Kicking them to the curb now?
I think Pine Grove does those like sickly sweet harmonies that stay in my head forever better. I think Great Grandpa writes better songs.
Maggie informed me yesterday that Pine Grove is Kristen Stewart's favorite band, and she's got a Pine Grove tattoo.
Well, I'm out.
So you and Kristen Stewart can love Pine Grove together.
Yeah, we will.
Sorry, that's.
But Yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed this record, and I'm super glad that both of you like this record as well, because I was hoping that there would be some crossover appeal, because it's not just your straightforward traditional emo. I think it has a lot of elements of that, but particularly the songwriting doesn't feel boring like just a by the numbers emo record would. I think they have a lot more diverse instrumentation. Like English Garden has these gorgeous like piano and string accompaniments. Split the Kids is like a super simple, acoustic track, but the vocals are insane. And I didn't look up the vocalist's name, but she's incredible.
All of those harmonies are really, really good.
Yes. Yeah, I really liked the dynamic between the male vocalist and the female vocalist. It kind of reminded me of what was that? The bummer pop group I listened to a couple weeks ago. I forget their name, but they very similar. Yeah. But the female vocalist plays more of a prominent role, and I really, really enjoyed that. I think she's super talented. And yeah, it's just kind of everything I love about emo music today. And I think they are on the right track to be one of my favorites.
Nice. Look at that. Does this put like that much more pressure on Pinegrove's new album for you?
I mean, not that much pressure. I think, for me at least, the last record, while I did grow to really love it, I wasn't enamored with it when it came out.
Yeah.
So I'm going into this next record kind of expecting the same.
I mean, especially after that first single, it's like
yes. Yeah, so if they surprise me, I will be pleasantly surprised. If it's the same, it's what I expected.
Fair.
So, but I don't think it'll come close to this record.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's very different. Mr. Paul, you want to tell us about your album of the week?
Yeah, so not the most original, but Michael Kiwanuka, and I'm sure people will forgive the pronunciation, but he just dropped Kiwanuka, self-titled. But man, this thing is so good. I don't even know where to start. It starts off with kind of like a neo soul feel. If you like that Charles Bradley kind of sound, just the really old school.
Yes.
It starts out that way. Really strong backing band. Horn section's really cool. Everything's so tight in the way that it's put together. And just when you're thinking it's going to be a 60s themed kind of throwback record the whole way through, you start to hear some of the other stuff develop later on. There's a fair number of tracks on it, and it starts to get kind of decidedly more modern towards the center. But I kept finding little things I really liked about it. I feel like he pulls back at just the right points. Not every single line is sung with every bit of feeling in it.
Yeah.
But he knows when to pour it on, when it's just the absolute right time for it. But yep, if you like that sort of stuff, I'd definitely check it out. It's something also I think would be sort of good cooking music, or kind of a multi-generational situation.
Yeah.
Where
for sure.
Holidays are coming up. Like everyone can appreciate it.
Yeah,
somewhat.
it's pretty. Yeah, it's inoffensive, but I think it's a beautiful record, and it, honest to God, might be one of my favorite singer-songwriter records of the year. Like it's just so gorgeously produced, and I think he's a really talented vocalist. Like you said, he walks that nice line between overemphasizing and like playing it cool closer into the microphone. Like it's neat.
Exactly. There's a lot of lines that I feel like some of the traditional guys would put just so much feeling into, and we always say that as a good thing, but it's sort of you don't get as much contrast when he's telling the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, can't recommend it highly enough. Main tracks I'd recommend are You Ain't the Problem, probably Living in Denial, Hard to Say Goodbye, Final Days. I have a hard time even just picking a short list.
Yeah.
But if Charles Bradley I mentioned, it kind of has that flavor, especially from the jump. And then, Sun Little, at first I didn't see the Brittany Howard comparison, but toward the end of the album, like it's a little bit more modernized and you get everything kind of mashed up. Yeah, any of those artists, I think you'd enjoy this.
I can see it. And yeah, those are certainly some contenders. There was not a bad album this week, at least for me. If you're curious about these singles and albums we talked about today, there'll be a playlist up on the site containing all the singles and the best tracks from this week's albums. That site would be bliss.house, bliss.haus. Check us out on all the places, like, subscribe, Take care of yourselves. Comment. Do nice things. Be nice to each other. Check out the impeachment hearings. I've heard it's very interesting. I haven't watched any myself. Did you have a soapbox or something to stand upon? The way you're holding the mic. Sounds
I just wanted to make note that I am wearing the sweatshirt that's draped across the chair you're sitting in. Go Nats. And I also was just wearing the sweatshirt that Paul's wearing, the Nike sweatshirt.
Oh my god!
So we were just meant to be here.
Triplets.
And that's why he's the chosen one.
Triplitsies. Good job, everybody. Congratulations. Bliss.house, bliss.hus. Go Nats, go America.
Proud of you guys. Woo.